How you doing? Welcome to Thriving Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to be having an insightful conversation. Today's conversation is going to be about healthy boundaries in our friendships and balancing closeness with personal space. I find this a beneficial conversation because we want to be able to feel as if that we can have our own reserved space for ourselves, so we're able to heal, get our needs met, but also at the same time too, go out there and mingle and have a good time with our friends, feel respected, and be able to navigate on that standpoint. So once again, today's video we're going to be talking about healthy boundaries and friendships and how to balance closeness with personal space, ensuring that both you and your friends maintain that emotional well-being. So stay tuned to Thriving Talks, and we're going to really dive into, like I said, the healthy boundaries in addition to sharing practical tips to maintain them. So let's just start off with what are healthy boundaries in friendships. So the definition, we'll dive into it, is healthy boundaries help define personal limits of emotional, physical, and social. They protect our time and energy while maintaining meaningful connections. So research shows that studies of the clear boundaries lead to longer lasting, healthier relationships. When boundaries aren't respected, burnout or resentment can arise. So we want to make sure that burnout we don't want to have. So in order for us to avoid that, we want to have that balance, we want to have that reservation, so making sure we're putting up those boundaries for ourselves, right? So a key aspect is respecting others personal space, which promotes trust and reduces anxiety in friendships. So when someone says no, it means no. Back off, let them do their thing. They'll get to you when they need to, and vice versa, right? So let's dive into the science behind healthy boundaries. So the autonomy and well-being. So research shows that we all need autonomy to thrive. Respecting boundaries allows friends to stay connected while maintaining that independence. So we all need to go through our personal development. We all need a time to grow and thrive and just really just kind of our own space, you know what I mean? So overall, when someone's, like I said, that needs that space, respect it. In addition to that helps us have a good relationship when it comes to not family, but that friendship. And this also could do the same thing when it comes to family, when we think about it too, having that respectful boundary. So for yourself and others. So in addition to science, when it comes to healthy boundaries, we have the EQ, so the emotional intelligence. So people with high EQ can communicate their needs better, leading to healthier boundaries. So overall, when you identify something, you want to stand on something, you want to speak up and advocate for yourself. So overall, just communicate that you need boundaries. You shouldn't feel as if that you have to keep accommodating to people, but you're putting other people before yourself. So really just kind of make sure that you're putting yourself first. And as you start to get that awareness, you start to get that self reassurance and that self-love, and that you're focused on self-compassion and self-love. You know what I mean? Overall, you're going to start getting that emotional intelligence. When you focus not just on yourself, but obviously put yourself first and stuff like that, but also identifying others' needs. And like I said, when they're saying no, they need space, you're gonna start getting that intelligence. So it works on both hands. Let's dive into neurobiology. So when boundaries are respected, our brains release oxytocin, so strengthens our bond. So violating boundaries can basically rise stress hormones like cortisol, leading to tension. So you guys can kind of get the double sided sword of when you're violating somebody's boundaries and you are respecting someone's boundaries. So you're stressing somebody out and you're giving someone the respect that they need to kind of get the stress going down. So really understanding our intentions of what we're putting out there and making sure that we're respecting ourselves and other people's needs as well. So that's the neurobiology of the mind and how it's affecting our body and our brain. So, for example, if a friend demands too much of your time, setting limits is essential. So, people that do last minute things, they want you to just jump when they jump, and that can affect your anxiety and all that type of stuff. So, really just making sure that you prevent the stress and maintain a positive relationship by, like I said, making sure that you're communicating respectfully, but putting your needs and putting yourself first. So let's dive into how to set and maintain boundaries. So we want to make sure, number one, we identify our needs. So understand your own emotional and personal limits first. What do you need to feel balanced? You know what I mean? Just really understanding your needs. You know what I mean? Everybody's different, but putting yourself first, like I said. So a tip from research is in a book called The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, which is a psychologist. She discusses the importance of vulnerability and self-awareness, so in healthy relationships. So clarifying your needs and limits allows for more honest and effective communication. So just really, like I said, being authentic, be true to yourself. You feel some type of way, you know what I mean? Be respectful about it, but overall, just be really clear about it. Be clear, cut to the point, specific, you know what I mean? And put your needs first. And having that self-awareness is going to be able to help not just yourself, but those relationships out there as well. Moving on to communication clearly. So respect and explain your limits. For example, I love hanging out, but I need the weekends for personal time. So I need that space. So like I said, be specific, be blunt, get to the point, you know what I mean? But you can be respectful at the same time too when you're communicating clearly. Number 3 is going to be about respect each other's boundaries. So overall, like I said earlier, when someone says no, it means no, back off. You know what I mean? So respecting your friends' boundaries is just as important as communicating your own. If your friends needs some time, you know, like we talked about earlier, let them get their time, or vice versa. You need some time, don't take it personal, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? So respecting each other is essential. Is going to help you guys be able to maintain that friendship, maintain that respect, and that boundary is really going to be able to promote that trust and harmony when we're able to utilize and respect each other, you know? So I want you guys to take that into consideration. Let's dive into some common challenges when it comes to setting boundaries, just to be able to have some more understanding. So number 1 is going to be about the fear of rejection and conflict. So sometimes people may be uncomfortable and unsettling about it, but at the same time, it is what it is. We have to set the boundaries for our health and the overall relationship, if that's what it's going to be. So setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable, but research shows it can strengthen relationships when handling respectfully. Like I said, making sure we can communicate our needs, but making sure that we're being respectful about it. So setting boundaries is not about pushing people away, but protecting our emotional space. And like I said earlier, having that little reservation for ourselves where we're able to make sure our personal needs are met. We're working ourselves, we're getting our needs met overall. We have the reservation to kind of have a hone ourselves. When things is going wrong, we just, we have our own little island, you know what I mean? In our own comfort and our own peace, which is essential. But like I said, it's essential to our mental health and our emotional space for protection. So at the end of the day, like I said, it may be uncomfortable, but we got to make sure we put ourselves first. The next is going to be guilt. So guilt often arises when we say no. By respecting our own needs is crucial for our emotional health, right? So for someone that is always putting other people first, or you're just used to saying yes, 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 this may be something a little uncomfortable and unsettling, but you got to realize that by every time that you say yes, yes, yes to someone else, it's taking something away from you. It's taking, you know what I mean? Essence, it's always good to be a good person, do good and put the energy. I'm never going to tell you to not do that, but I really want you to make sure that you're putting yourself first, because if you're not putting yourself first, you're not going to have that full energy. You're not going to perform at your best self, or your best vibration, or your best you know what I mean? Like your volts, you know what I mean? So I really want you really to make sure that you put yourself first. And it's necessary to say no to make sure that you're getting your needs met. And then when you get your needs met, you're able to sprinkle out. Analogy I want to be able to provide for you is that analogy was provided to me is almost like the cup analogy. So it's like, how are you going to sit there and pour water for people if the water is not, the jug's not full, right? So make sure the water is full for yourself, and anything that is left over, you're able to distribute. So really utilize that mindset, because it will be able to help you out to prevent that burnout, as you discussed earlier. So a practical tip I want to be able to give you is start small. Practice setting boundaries in less stressful situations, then build up to more challenging ones. So start small, and then work your way through as things get more critical. So let's dive into some benefits on healthy boundaries, such as number 1 being mutual respect. So clear boundaries lead to healthier, more respectful relationships and friendships overall with different people that you interact with. So make sure that you're having that mutual respect. The next is going to be emotional health. So maintaining boundaries reduces that stress and prevents burnout. Like I said, I don't want you guys to get to be fried. I don't want you guys to be done, torn up from the floor up. So make sure that you're having that emotional health and having those boundaries to prevent that burnout. The next is going to be a strength in relationships. So overall, when we're having these healthy boundaries, it strengthens our friendships. So when both people respect the boundaries, friendships are more sustainable and more fulfilling and long term. So it's like overall, you know what I mean? When we have that respect, we feel loved, and we also have that sense of self-compassion. Like I said earlier, we're getting our needs met, putting ourselves first. These relationships and these dynamics are going to be much more better. We also have that awareness and emotional intelligence and all the type of stuff like that we discussed earlier as well. That's going to really be able to help us as an individuals. So overall, like I said in regards to our video today about healthy boundaries when it comes to friendships and balancing closeness and having our personal space, it is essential for not just ourselves but for others, and it does benefit us and all around. So hopefully this video was beneficial. You took some great essential aspects from it and you utilize it. If you found this was beneficial, I want you to share it, give it a thumbs up, and even subscribe. Thank you for thriving with me. Thank you for talking with me, and more intentional content is on the way. Take it easy.